Your brain is spectacularly deceiving you. And what's worse, you're giving it a round of applause. Have you ever felt suddenly brilliant? As if a great prophet has just possessed you. But only after everything has already happened? That glorious feeling when you slap your thigh and exclaim, "See? I knew it all along." Congratulations. You've just become the victim of one of the most spectacular scams your mind plays on you. A delusion of grandeur known as hindsight bias. Simply put, hindsight bias is the tendency that makes us believe we could have predicted an event beforehand, when in reality, we were completely in the dark. Our brain, basically, is a creature that hates feeling surprised and being wrong. It would rather distort memories, writing and directing a new script where we are the master analyst, than have to admit, "Yep, I got that one completely wrong." It's like a dodgy screenwriter who, after the movie ends, rushes onto the stage, tears up the old script, and says, No, I wrote this ending from the very beginning. I just hid it to build suspense." Let me give you a classic example that everyone has experienced: soccer. Before the World Cup final, you're sitting with your friends, and everyone is analyzing like they're pros. Team A has a good press, but their defense is a bit shaky. Team B has a star player carrying the team, but their mentality isn't stable. This match is a total 50-50. Super hard to predict. 90 terrifying minutes end, and Team A gets thrashed because of a goalkeeper's mistake. Instantly, a self-proclaimed prophet in the group awakens. He stands up, crosses his arms, puts on a pensive face, and declares with a straight face, "I knew it. You could tell just by looking at that goalkeeper that something was off. I saw this playstyle was flawed since the group stage. I just didn't want to say anything and ruin the mood for you guys." Where was this soccer expert during the last 90 minutes? Which dimension did he just pop out of? That is hindsight bias in action. The brain has quickly erased the memories of confusion and hesitation before the match, replacing them with a false memory, a steadfast belief that, "I saw it all coming." This story doesn't just end on the soccer field. It plays out with tragicomic flair in the world of business and investing. Imagine it's 2021, when the stock and crypto markets were skyrocketing. Everyone was an expert. Everyone was a value investor. Then boom, the market collapses. Suddenly, bootleg Warren Buffetts start popping up in every coffee shop. They take a sip of coffee, sigh, and tell their juniors, "See? I knew this bubble was going to burst. The way it was growing exponentially. I already saw the signs. Bro, when it was skyrocketing, didn't I see you going all in, even harder than me? How come your premonition only showed up after your account lost 50% of its value?" This is a perfect psychological defense mechanism. Instead of admitting we made a bad decision, the brain chooses the easier path, deluding itself that it saw the problem all along but chose not to act for some noble reason. It helps us protect our fragile ego from the harsh reality that we were wrong. And perhaps the most relatable, most painful example for all of us is exams. You're holding a test paper with a big, fat, red D on it. What's the first reaction? "I knew it would be on the one chapter I didn't study." Really? Or did you just flip a coin before the exam and decide to only study chapter 3 because your gut feeling told you it would be on the test? Your gut feeling, at that moment, was actually laziness. But after receiving the terrible result, the brain immediately turns it into an infallible prophecy. It rewrites the story to, "I had a bad feeling about this test. I knew it would be tough. I should have listened to my intuition and studied harder." No, my friend, you had no intuition. You were just trying to find a plausible reason to explain your failure. If only the brain had spent more time hitting the books instead of playing screenwriter at home, the grade would have been different. So why does the brain love playing this game of photoshopping memories so much? Because this world is full of randomness and chaos. Accepting that many things happen beyond our control is a very scary thought. Therefore, the brain creates an illusion of order. It rearranges past events into a clear, understandable chain of cause and effect. And in that story, we are always the wise one, the visionary. Believing that we knew it all along gives us a sense of security and control. Even if it's just a deceptive comfort. It's not exactly a bug, but a default feature installed to help us survive the uncertainties of life. The problem is, when we overuse this feature, we never learn from our mistakes. If you predicted every failed exam, you'll never sit down and analyze where you actually went wrong. So the next time you're about to utter the magic words, "I knew it all along," could you maybe stop for a second and ask yourself, did I really know? Or did my brain just pull off another spectacular con job?